Good morning. All right, good morning. How's everybody doing? It's Uncle Lou here. Yep, that's right. It is me, Uncle Lou, live on YouTube. How's everybody doing? Happy Thursday. Welcome to Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. Every Tuesday, well, most Tuesday and Thursday nights year-round. Every Tuesday and Thursday night during the season. But I do take a day off here or there in the off-season. I could not do the show on Tuesday on account of having a colonoscopy Wednesday morning. And I was in no condition Tuesday night to be doing a call-in show. So I was unable to do it. Good news is Uncle Lou's got the cleanest colon in town. That's right. No issues. No polyps. No cancer. Good news for Uncle Lou. Yeah. Cleanest colon in town. But we do this show 2 nights a week, Tuesdays and Thursday nights, usually around 8 or 9 o'clock. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. It's literally the easiest thing you can do to help support the show and the channel. Costs you absolutely nothing. Takes very little effort, time, or energy on your part. And a lot of you are big into low effort and low energy. So hitting the thumbs up is right up your alley. Penn State fan wants to know what Georgia has done. Some other Mensa student a minute ago in the comment section said, I don't understand why they even have strength of schedule rankings. Who said that about the strength of schedule? Y'all going to make me scroll back and find it, or is somebody going to own up to it? Who said that? Richard Western. Is that Richard Western? Is that a real name? Richard Western says, I don't even know why they have a strength of schedule ranking. Okay, well, see if Uncle Lou can help you out, bud. See if I can help you out here. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you help yourself, Richard. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you help yourself. College football playoff rankings. Here we go. All right. Take you a look here, Richard. This is the final college football playoff ranking that came out last year after conference championship weekend, okay? See that there? You see that, don't you? All right. You see where Texas Tech is 12-1 and ranked 4th, but Ohio State is 12-1 and ranked 2nd? Why do you think that is, bud? Just if you had to just take a wild guess of why somebody would rank a 12-1 Ohio State or a 12-1 Georgia, for that matter, ahead of a 12-1 Texas Tech after conference championship weekend in the final playoff rankings. What's your, if you just had to take a stab in the dark, Richard, what would your educated guess be as to why somebody might rank a 12-1 Ohio State or Georgia ahead of a 12-1 Texas Tech after conference championship weekend? Do you have just throw something out there. See what sticks. Would strength of schedule be a possible reason why, Richard? Would maybe? You see, Richard, in college football, there's almost 140 teams. Almost 140. Now, all 140 or so of those teams, they play 12 regular season games. Now, 12 is way less than 140. In other words, you can't play every team So, college football is built on a ranking system. How do you rank a team that has the same record as another team if they haven't played? How could you possibly do that? Well, you could do things like look at common opponents. You could do that. You could look at who had they played, who'd they beat, who'd they lose to. Now, what's another word? What's another phrase for that? When people talk about, well, this team beat that team, and that team, and the other team only beat this team, and this team. What's another phrase for that? When people talk like that, what are they actually talking about? Strength of schedule. See, you have to have a series of metrics beyond wins and losses to rank teams because they don't all play each other. There's more glaring examples here we can look at, Richard. Let me ask you a question, bud. Why would a 10-2 Utah team be ranked ahead of an 11-2 Tulane team? That don't make no sense, does it? Utah's 10-2. They've only got 2 losses, yet somehow they're ranked 6 spots ahead of Tulane, who has a better record. Why? What possible explanation could there be for that, Richard? What possible explanation could there be? Why is Southern Cal? Southern Cal was 9-3. Somehow they're ranked ahead of James Madison, who's 12-1. Come look at this. Hey, come here. Look at this. Come here. I'll show you something. Look at this shit here. Look at this. Southern Cal is 9-3 and ranked 16th. James Madison's 12-1, and they're all the way down there at 24. Do you know why that is? Oh yeah, that's right. Strength of schedule. Now, if Lucy Lou knew that, and she's 3 months old, Richard, how did you not know that? Come on, bud. We got to do better. We absolutely have to do better. It's a must. We didn't run Richard off, did we? If that ran Richard off, then he probably doesn't need to be here. The doggy is growing. Yeah, about 15 pounds now. It was 8 pounds when we brought her home. Lucy is a ball knower. Yeah. Richard, I do thank you for bringing up strength of schedule today because, believe it or not, there is something I actually want to talk about with strength of schedule today. I want to talk about conference rankings. I guess I'm going to add that in. What I think I'm going to do is just add it in as a segment on the Your Season is Over video every Sunday. That just seems like it makes the most sense. I do like the We're Back list. I do like these are the best teams I saw play yesterday. I figured, nope. See, now y'all done made me get Lucy riled up and she's getting into shit. You're not supposed to be under there. Get out from under there. Hey, bop, 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 bop. Get over there. Bop, 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 bop. You gotta get over there. There you go, bud. Appreciate everything you do. What was I saying? Oh, so I'm going to add the conference rankings into the weekly Your Season is Over video during the season. I'll do a preseason one. But spoiler alert, I've already done my preseason one. I posted it over on my Twitter, I think yesterday. My preseason conference rankings shouldn't really be a surprise. Big Ten 1, SEC 2. I've got the Big 12 at 3 and the ACC at 4. That's not an indication or that's not a opinion on any one team within one of those conferences. I obviously think Miami is really, really good. I've got them ranked number 1 in my preseason top 25. I think Miami's an amazing team. I'm talking about conferences top to bottom here. I've got preseason heading into the season. Big Ten 1, SEC 2, Big 12 3, ACC 4. You can start with the obvious. I think there's 3 teams in the Big Ten in the top 5 of the national title odds. You've got Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State. Um, Georgia's right around there. Notre Dame's right around there. Miami's right around there. But the Big Ten's got three of the top five, sort of the big three in the Big Ten right now: Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon. Even beyond that, in the Big Ten, I think there are several contenders to get into the playoff with a fourth or possibly even fifth team. You know, the SEC got five teams in last year, so it is possible. But I think Southern Cal is borderline. They were 9-3 last year. I think they're a top 15 team. Michigan, if Bryce Underwood figures out what he's doing, which I don't have very much confidence in, but if he does, that's the issue with Michigan. It's the offense and Bryce Underwood. With Southern Cal, it's the defense. Is it going to be any good? We don't know. Penn State, I don't think, is a top 15 team in the country, but who do they play? They've got a very manageable schedule. Iowa wins 8 or 9 games every year in their sleep. I think Washington is an underrated team, and I think UCLA. Tennessee fans, cover your ears. I think UCLA. Um, I think UCLA could get to 8 or 9 wins this year too. So I think, to me, the Big Ten, 3 straight national titles. They've owned the SEC in the postseason the last couple of years, playoffs and bowl games. Texas beat Ohio State in the during the regular season last year. Oklahoma beat Michigan, um, the Big Ten, to me, clearly on top. SEC, I'd have it 2. Georgia is the odds-on favorite to win the SEC. Just below that, you've got Texas. Alabama hovering around there, LSU, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M both made the playoffs last year. I think Oklahoma will be a better team this year than Texas A&M will. Florida's got a new coach. They're in some people's top 25. I don't understand why, but they are. I think the Big Ten and the SEC are clearly 1 and 2. I'd have Big Ten 1, SEC 2. When it comes to ACC Big 12, trying to figure out who's 3 and who's 4, I think Texas Tech is a legit top 10 roster. I think BYU is a legit top 15 team. I think Utah, despite a new coaching staff, is a legit top 15 team. I think Houston could get to maybe 8, or hell, they might get 10 wins, Houston. But they could get to 8 or 9 for sure. I think Kansas State, I can't believe I'm saying I went all in on Kansas State last year, and they humiliated me. Can you believe I picked Kansas State to win the Big 12 last year? What was I doing? I don't know what I was doing, but I did. Don't think they're winning the Big 12 this year, but I think they'll be. A lot better. Arizona State, I think, could be pretty good too. The thing with the ACC is, with Clemson and Florida State being as down as they are, and it is possible Clemson turns it around this year. I'm not necessarily banking on it. Clemson feels like a 7 or 8 win team to me. But Florida State, on the other hand, would be a miracle if they got to 7 or 8 wins. It's hard for the ACC, in my opinion, to compete with the other conferences in a conference ranking standpoint when 2 of their big 3 schools are in the toilet. Florida State and Clemson. Miami is carrying that conference right now. Clemson carried it for a long time while Miami and Florida State were bad. Florida State carried it in the early 2010s when Clemson and Miami were bad. It seems like one of those 3 teams is good at a time. But the ACC's had a hard time getting all 3 of those teams to be good at the same time. And beyond those 3, SMU and Louisville, I think, are legitimate top 20 teams. I don't think they could necessarily compete in a playoff against top 10 teams, though. Georgia Tech almost starting over this year with a new quarterback, new offensive coordinator. They lost Haynes King. They did get a good running back from Michigan, though, that Justice Haynes. So it feels like they're probably taking a step back. North Carolina is in a death spiral right now with Bill Belichick. NC State in their good years goes 8-4. Virginia Tech hired James Franklin. I think it's a great hire, but what does that mean for this year? I don't know that it means all that much. So I think the Big 12's got a couple of teams at the top, 3-4 teams at the top, whereas the ACC is kind of Miami, then a significant drop off. Then maybe you have SMU, Louisville, then another drop off. And then you've got whoever it is you think is finishing like 4th, 5th, and 6th there. So I would have Big 10 1, SEC 2, Big 12 3, ACC 4 in my preseason conference rankings. And once again, I will update those every single week during the season, as a part of the Your Season is Over video that we do every Sunday. So there you go on that. Morning announcements here. Do we have any morning announcements today? What did I write down here? Standing desk. Oh, does anybody have or has used one of those motorized standing desks? I'm thinking about getting one. I've had this desk set up that I'm using now for, what year is it? Almost 10 years. I think I built this in 2017. I say I built it. I made it out of it's basically two bookcases for legs, and then it's actually a door that I use for the desk. And I painted it, and I love it. It's huge. It's worked great, but it's getting old. It's seen better days. And I'm thinking about going with one of those standing desks. You've got one, Hunter? You like it? Do you have a recommendation on a brand, or like something I should look to avoid, or anything I need to know about them? With the football season coming up, I stand up in here when I do the live streams. I can't sit down and watch college football. If I try to sit down, I'm standing up 5 minutes later yelling at something. So I'm thinking about a standing desk. What are you doing? Hold on. Get out of there. Get out of there, knucklehead. The nerve of that dog, I'm telling you. Anyway, so I'm thinking of one of those motorized standing desks. So like the videos and the call-in shows like this here, I can lower the desk, sit down like I'm sitting now, do the shows. But then for the live, for the game streams, where I'm standing up and watching the games with you guys, being able to raise the desk up so I'm not having to look down like that at the computer screens, or to type something and move the mouse or whatever. So I'm thinking of investing in a standing desk. If anybody's got any tips or pointers on that for me, I'm all ears and would be happy to hear it. Colon. I wrote down colon. Oh, I did have a colonoscopy yesterday. I'm happy to report that Uncle Lou's got to clean his colon in town. No polyps, no signs of cancer, no problems, no nothing. Uncle Lou's colon in great shape. I know a lot of you have been staying up late at night, worried about my colon. So that ought to put you at ease there. Golf. Guess what I did today? I went and played golf today. People ask me all the time when they find out where I live. They go, "Oh, you just play golf all the time." I never play golf. I played golf today for the first time in probably 25 years. I don't remember playing golf since my early 20s. So it's been 20 or 25 years since I played golf. My son got into it about 6 months ago. And I told him, I said, we'll go play. Anyway, today was the day. We went and played. Brutal. And it didn't take me long to remember why I don't play golf. I spend a lot of time in the woods, and I don't like the woods. And when I play golf, I spend a lot of time in the woods, hunting down balls. It's just an aggravating, frustrating sport to me. So, but I did go play today. And I'm not going to lie, I had a good time. It's hard to find, if you've ever had teenage kids, he's 17. It's pulling teeth to get him to want to hang out with you at that age. But actually over the last week or so, twice he went to see the Odyssey with me. And then we went and played golf today. So I got to hang out with Lou Jr. a couple of times here in the last week. We did have a good time. We played best ball, so we both teed off, but then whichever shot was better, we played from there. Whichever approach shot was better, we then played from there. You guys, if you play golf, you know what best ball is. That's what we played. We had a good time. We didn't really keep score, but we had a good time. For those of you who live around here or might be curious, we played at Forest Hills. You know how much it cost? I haven't played golf in 25 years. You want to talk about sticker shock? You know how much it cost for me and Lou Jr. to play golf today? Those of you that play golf will probably not be surprised, but for those of you that don't play, this might come as a shock to you. You know how much it cost me and Lou Jr. to play one round of golf today at Forest Hills? $90, $100, $175, $140. $70 a person. $70 per person on a Thursday at 10 in the morning. I had to ask the guy, I said, today's Thursday. Not, like, what is it? What is that, a weekend rate? He said, nope, $70 during the week. I said, you guys are highway robbery around here. Another reason I quit playing. Anyway, we had a good time. What else do I have written down here from my note from the morning announcements? Let's see. Standing desk, golf, conference rankings, Cherokee. Oh, I am going out of town this weekend, but this is my last one for the off season. This is my last one. And this one ain't my fault. When I was in New York last week, my brother called me and he said, hey, we want to go to Cherokee for the weekend, last weekend of July. Do you and the lady want to go? I said, well, look, I always want to go, but I get yelled at when I bring up, let's go to Cherokee. So if I ask her, I'm going to have to tell her it was y'all's idea. So that's what I did. So I called the lady and I said, look, this ain't me. This had nothing to do with me. But my brother and his wife want to know, do we want to go to Cherokee the last weekend in July? She goes, well, I already know you want to go. I said, well, yeah, I want to go every damn day, but like, do you want to go? And she said, yeah, we'll go. So anyway, leaving tomorrow morning, be back Sunday afternoon. But that is my last hoorah for the off season. That's my last hoorah for the off season. I will be here from, well, what is Sunday? Is Sunday the 1st or the 2nd? Sunday is August 2nd. All right. So you have my word. Uncle Lou will be right here in this chair from August 2nd till January 23rd. Now I know what you're thinking. Lou, August 2nd to January 23rd. But the national title game is on January 25th. That's right. The national title game is on January 25th. Can anyone tell me where that national title game is being played? Where's the national title game at this year? It's in Uncle Lou's home away from home, beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and that is where I will be. I will be live streaming the national title game, though. Don't worry. I'll be live streaming it from Vegas, so we can still hang out and watch the Natty game, but I am leaving on January 23rd to fly out to Vegas. I'll be there for a week. So I'll be there for the national title game. Not going to the game. Well, I'm not planning on going to the game. Of course, I'm going to check ticket prices when it gets closer to the end of the year. But look, I love college football, guys. I'm not paying $3,000 or $4,000 for a football team. It's not worth it to me. I love college football, but it's not worth that to me. That amount of money. Maybe if Georgia was in the game, maybe. But that's a lot of money. And I don't even know if that's what they would cost. Maybe they would cost way more than that. Maybe they would cost less than that. I don't know. I paid about $1,400 for me and Lou Jr. to go to the World Cup. That's about my limit on what I'm willing to pay for a 3 or 4 hour event. That's about my limit. Anyway, but I will be in Vegas during the national title game. So, but I'll be right here from August 2nd to January 23rd. This weekend's trip to Cherokee, which again is not my fault. I didn't plan this. It wasn't my idea. Blame Lou's brother. This was Lou's brother's idea, and it's his fault, not mine. But I'll be right here from Sunday, August 2nd till Friday, January 22nd. I'm not going anywhere. Be right here. Nothing but college football from August 2nd till the national title game. One last weekend getaway here coming up. That is it for the morning announcements. Yeah, that is it for the morning announcements. All right. If you want to join the show, the link to do that is in the description of the video. It's a StreamYard link. StreamYard's extremely easy to use. You just click the link from your cell phone, type your name in the box, whatever you want to be called or whatever, click join studio, it puts you in a back room. You'll be able to hear the show. When it's your turn to come on, I'll put you on and we'll talk some college football. It's literally that easy. There's even been a handful of South Carolina fans that have figured it out over the years. So that should tell you it can't be all that hard. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yes, sir. What's going on, Uncle Lou?
What's up, Octavian?
Your favorite Florida fan.
Yes, yeah. Thanks for reminding me.
Yes, man. Hey, man. I'm not going anywhere either, man. After this weekend, it's going to be a chill weekend. But August the 5th, it's going to get intense, baby. We start fall count. We find out who's going to be the Florida Gators the Florida Gators next quarterback, man. I can't fucking wait.
Who's it going to be, bud?
Well, I really think it's Tramel Jones. Yeah. I think it's Tramel. I think it is. I don't know. Maybe Philo, man. It's hard right now. I really hope it's the best.
Yeah.
I really hope for the best. Oh, man. What's going on with Garner Stockton, man?
Nothing. What do you mean? What's going on with him? Is there something going on with him? He didn't get arrested. He didn't get arrested, did he? I always have to ask when it comes to Georgia players. Do you know something I don't know?
I have no idea. I haven't heard from Georgia this offseason. That is quite a surprise. I'm shocked that I haven't heard from the Georgia border. They haven't been doing much talking lately, I know. They haven't been doing much talking.
Buddy, teams like Georgia talk during the season. Teams like Florida talk in the offseason. Yeah, we've been over this.
They haven't been doing much talking. I understand that.
There's nothing for them to talk about. They run the SEC. What do you want them to? You want them to knock on your door and tell you that? That's what I'm here for, dummy.
They don't run the SEC. Nobody fears Georgia. They about to get knocked off the cliff. They already got knocked off the cliff. They just gonna get knocked down a pig.
They've played in the SEC title game 8 of the last 10 years. Just stop it.
Who gives a damn about that shit, man?
You.
I don't.
Yes, you do. If Florida was in the SEC title game, that's all we would hear about from you.
Florida is going to the SEC title game.
Why do you care? Sure. You said that don't matter. Why do you care about Florida going to the SEC title game when you just said
I want to win it? I want to win it. I want to win it, and I want to win it in front of the Georgia fans.
Why do you want to win it?
I want to win it.
Why does it matter if Florida wins it when you're telling me it doesn't matter that Georgia's won it 2 years in a row, 3
because y'all time is up, man. It time's up.
Okay. Like I said, the SEC runs through Georgia, bud. And you've had a chance to beat them every single year. Unfortunately, you can't fucking do it because y'all a dog shit fucking program.
The dog shit in Athens, Georgia is y'all is dog shit.
No, buddy,
I'm just gonna keep it real.
Florida's been in the SEC since the 1930s. 0 SEC titles in the 30s, 0 SEC titles in the 40s, 0 SEC titles in the 50s, 0 SEC titles in the 60s, 0 SEC titles in the 70s, 0 SEC titles in the 80s. All your SEC titles came in the 90s and the 2000s. 2 of the last 11 decades, Florida was relevant in the SEC. 9 of the last 11, irrelevant. Sorry, it is what it is, bud. Dog shit program.
It is. And you know what? You know who else dog shit? You know who else dog shit? The fucking Auburn Tigers. Fuck Auburn. I fucking hate them, dog. I swear, I can't wait to play them, dog, this year. Yeah. I can't fucking wait. Fuck Auburn. Fuck Alex Golden. His bitch ass. He want to run his mouth against us with John Summerall. He's gonna fucking stick it up his ass at fucking Jordan Hare.
Yeah, now that I can agree with you.
That's fucking trash.
Yeah, that we can agree on. Fuck Auburn.
I can't stand them. I can't stand them. I hope DJ Latway put 40 on them in Atlanta come week 1. They talk so cash shit this off season that I have to debate an Auburn fan because when have they ever been good?
Imagine being too white trashy to cheer for Bama. So you have to be an Auburn fan.
When has Auburn done something? When has Auburn done something? When's the last time Auburn been good?
Well, they were good in 2017. That was the last time they were good.
Who was that? Who was the last coach that was good for him was Gus Malzahn. Y'all ran him out of town. Then y'all got the dude from Boise State. Y'all made rumors and lies about him. Then y'all got a so-called preacher as a coach. And look what he did to your football program. Look at him.
Yeah, I agree with you about Malzahn, by the way. I don't think he was a great coach, but he was better than any coach they've had since then.
I don't understand these Auburn fans. I really don't. I really don't. They talk so cash shit to me on this Twitter, man, and Instagram. They think like, when have y'all been good? The last time we played y'all, we whooped your ass in the swamp. I don't know what it is about Jordan-Hare that we can't win in, but this year is gonna be the year that we end the streak and we win. We beat Auburn for the first time in Jordan-Hare since 1999. This is our time. This is our time. This is the place to do it. I'm telling you now, man. These Auburn fans is delusional. You think I was delusional? They're delusional. They're the delusional ones. They are.
Yeah. All right, Octavian, thank you for the call. Good luck this season. I'm sure we will hear plenty from you. The Florida, I've talked a lot about the Florida Auburn game this offseason. I do think that's a big game for both those teams. It's the first conference game for each of those two teams. Of course, two new coaching staffs there with Golish at Auburn and Summerall at Florida. They play in week 3 in Auburn. I think Florida's got the better roster, top to bottom. I think Auburn's got the better quarterback. And obviously, Auburn's got home field advantage. I've done my Florida prediction video. I don't think I've done Auburn yet, but I've done Florida, and I did pick Florida to win that game. But I think that's going to be a really good game. I think the winner of that game can get to 7 or 8 wins. I think the loser of that game is in for a rough season. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What up, Uncle Lou?
Hey, back-to-back Gator fans today. We went from one of the most irrational Gator fans on the planet to somebody who's at least semi-sane. Good morning, sir.
You know, I'm confident in that game, but the biggest thing that worries me, and I've talked to you about this before, Summerall has never seen an environment like he's going to see in Jordan-Hare.
That's true.
There is nothing in the American.
That's true, but I will say at Ole Miss twice last year. I think he played at Ole Miss twice last year. Tulane played Ole Miss in the regular season and in the playoffs. And that the playoff environment at Ole Miss was probably pretty crazy. But that game was over halfway through the second quarter. That doesn't really prepare you for like a 4-quarter fight in Jordan-Hare. If Auburn's in that game in the second half, that is a very difficult place to play.
But I will say I do feel like we have a chance. I don't go to the level that Octavian does.
Well, no,
because go on. I'm sorry.
Nobody goes to the level of that Octavian does. Luckily.
And I will say, I have a shit ton of games that I'm looking forward to in weeks 0 and week 1, but there's 3 games in particular that I'm really interested in, and they're for different reasons.
Yeah.
The TCU UNC game.
Yeah.
Not because I think it's going to be a good game, but because what are they going to do with Belichick after the game? I don't think it'll be a close game. So do they fire him on the spot, or do they? I don't know.
Well, I don't think they're going to fire him after week 1. No. And this game was a blowout last year, by the way. First game of the year last year for North Carolina, they got destroyed by TCU. This is in Ireland this year. Makes it a little bit more difficult because you don't really know. how that kind of travel will affect the team. But I mean, there's no way I'm picking North Carolina in that game. TCU's favored by almost a touchdown. And I'm not making any picks on specific games right now in terms of against the spread. But if you made me put a bet on that game right now, I would take TCU minus the 6.5. And then, of course, you got all the distractions going on at North Carolina now. They just fired their director of player personnel, or put them on administrative leave or whatever. I mean, there's just it's one train wreck after another there at North Carolina since the minute they hired Belichick.
And then somebody I see here, someone said Ole Miss Louisville. I'm interested in that game. And you've talked about it over the offseason a lot. What kind of team is Ole Miss going to have with Pete Golding as their full-time coach? Because as you've talked about, yeah, he was there for the playoff game, and he was instrumental in putting things together to help them beat Georgia. But as you said before, it's completely different when you know you are the guy. Everyone's looking at you now. They're looking at you full time, not just on an interim basis, but full time.
Yeah. And obviously Lane Kiffin's gone, but the offense, Charlie Weiss is gone. That's the bad news offensively. The good news, you get Trinidad Chambliss back, you get Keywan Lacey back, probably the best quarterback running back duo in the SEC, and I think Ole Miss will probably lean on that a lot, especially early in the season. They got to replace a couple of wide receivers. It's going to be a rebuilt defense, but Pete Golding's a defensive guy, so maybe you trust that a little bit more. I don't know, but the Week 3 game for them against LSU is, I think, what will form a lot of opinions. A lot of opinions will be formed after that game on both sides, depending on how that one goes in Week 3. I think it's Week 3.
And then
Week 4.
And then I'm gonna hate watch the SMU Florida State game.
Well, aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Well, more so me, because last year I talked to you when we were there on the hangout how Florida State is in my top 5 most hated teams.
Yeah.
So, and there's one more thing I want to do before I get off. You know how we have a bet with North Dakota State? Yeah, North Dakota State.
I'm sure I have it written down, but I don't remember it. You can feel free to just tell me what it is.
It's over. I have under 9.5.
Yeah, I see it here. Yeah, North Dakota State under 9.5 wins. Yeah.
I want to look at their schedule and pick each game right quick.
All right. Of course,
solely because State, I have that bet with you.
First year at the FBS level. So let's see who they play. Who do they play? Here we go. 2026. I'll put up on the screen so everybody else can see it too.
And I'm watching every game of them because we have that bet going.
Yeah. Jacksonville State.
I think Jacksonville State wins that game because they have more experience at this level now, and I feel like overall they're a better team.
All right, that's a home game for North Dakota State. Week 2 also at home against Fordham. Whatever
they'll win that game. They'll win that game.
All right, so that's still one loss. At Air Force.
Air Force is probably the worst team in the Mountain West. They'll win that game easily.
All right, that's 2 losses. At Sac State.
Oh no, I'm picking them to beat Air Force.
Oh, all right, 1 loss. At Sac State.
I don't know anything about Sacramento State, but I know it's their first time, and I don't think North Dakota State has ever had to make that kind of travel. So I'm going to say, just because going from North Dakota to California, I'm going to give the lean to Sacramento State.
All right, 2 losses. Home against Wyoming.
Just because Wyoming was so bad last year, I'm going to pick North Dakota State.
All right, still 2. At UNLV.
UNLV wins that game.
3. And home against Nevada.
They'll beat Nevada.
At New Mexico.
They should beat New Mexico.
UTEP.
New Mexico is they'll win that game.
At Hawaii.
I think Hawaii can win this.
All right, it's 4 losses. Northern Illinois.
I'm gonna lean north. I'm gonna lean Northern Illinois.
All right, it's 5 losses. At San Jose State.
They'll beat San Jose State.
All right, so you've got them at 7-5, which would be under 9.5 wins. Thank you for the call, sir. It was good to hear from you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Finally, man.
Good.
I finally got this fixed. I was struggling.
That's what's
for the last 2
required
weeks.
for a conversation, 2 people to be able to hear and speak to each other. So now we're good to go. What can I do for you?
I'm calling from Coachella, California, and I have a couple of questions for you. Number one, which one do you think is more likely to happen? Oklahoma getting the first playoff win, or Lincoln Riley getting the playoff win?
Oklahoma gets a playoff win, or Southern Cal makes the playoffs?
No, Lincoln Riley gets a win in the playoffs.
So Oklahoma gets a win, or Southern Cal gets a win?
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is more likely?
Yeah, in your opinion.
I'll say Southern Cal because I don't think Oklahoma's making the playoffs. Southern Cal might. I don't think either of them are making it, but I'll go Southern Cal.
Okay, and then my second statement, Julian Sane is so overrated, bro.
Who?
I grew up Julian Sane.
Yeah, completed 80% of his passes, 20-something touchdowns and 6 interceptions as a freshman.
I don't care. I'm from California. I seen this dude play.
What is that? I'm from the moon. What is that?
Well, I'm from Southern California. I seen this dude played in high school. This dude has no athleticism. The only thing he has is a good arm. And I'm telling you, he's not good. He's overrated. And yeah, that's my opinion on that. And then my third statement, well, it's not a statement. It's actually a fun fact. USC is the only team ever to win one conference championship since the 1920s. It's the best team of all time, man.
They're the only team to win one conference championship?
Yep, in every decade since 1920.
Oh, in every decade.
Yeah, at least one.
I didn't know that, actually. That's actually good trivia. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then my last thing I want to talk about.
What decade did Bama, I guess, didn't win the SEC in the 80s, maybe? I'd have to look at Bama. Any Bama fans in here? What decade did Bama not win the SEC? And that's another good trivia question. Maybe the 80s they didn't win it? I know they were changing coaches in the 80s. Bear Bryant retired, and they were changing coaches. So maybe Bama didn't win the SEC any in the 80s. I'd have to look that up. Anyway.
Yeah, and then my last statement, man, I can't wait for the film. I cannot wait for week 1 so I can watch this film, talk about it, show my knowledge to the world. And yeah, I'm very excited for this college football season.
Yep. And I can't wait for you to call in every week and tell me about watching the film. Thank you for the call, buddy. Good luck to Southern Cal and Lincoln Riley. Airplane Spotter says last year. Last year wasn't a decade, but last year was 1 year. I know Alabama didn't win the SEC last year, but 1 year isn't a decade. He says it again. Last year, woo. You know what a decade is? You know what a decade is? Like the 80s is a decade, the 50s. Like right now we're in the 2020s. Alabama's won multiple SEC titles in the 2020s in this decade. Last year isn't a decade. Last year is 1 year. Come on, bud. Chance Tastic, good to see you in here tonight, my man. Thank you for joining the channel. Committed, good to see you in here. Thank you for the super chat. He says, colonoscopy. What is it, you ask? It is Cameron Diaz. Say it real fast. Camera in the ass. I get you there. Camera in the ass. Thank you, Committed. Jolie says, was the colonoscopy robot digital or the old-fashioned way by hand? I can only assume it was the old-fashioned way by hand because I did meet the doctor ahead of time and all that kind of thing. Of course, I was asleep. So they could have done whatever. I don't really know what the fuck they did. I really don't know. But according to them, it was a doctor, like a human being. Gator fan says, can't wait for October. Had a blast last year. Yeah, and it's October 17th we're doing it this year, and it might be the best Saturday of the season. If you haven't looked at the schedule of games for October 17th, I'm not going to pull it up right now because we've done it several times already, and there's a lot of people on hold right now to get on. But if you haven't looked at the slate of games for October 17th, you should look. It's an unbelievable day of games. Thank you guys for hitting the super chat. I really appreciate you helping to support the show today. That means a lot. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
I think Kentucky will beat Florida this year again.
Yeah, I think you told us that. I think you've told us that. Now, I am curious to see if Kentucky can pull off some big upset with Will Stein. Here's the thing. Will Stein is writing Kurt Signetti checks, and he better be able to cash them because if he doesn't, he's going to get clowned into oblivion. But this guy, Will Stein, showed up at SEC Media Days like he was the cock of the fucking walk. So he, now we talked about it with Signetti. We talked about it with Dion. It can go one of two ways when you do that. You talk that shit and you back it up, you're a fucking hero. You talk that shit and you fall on your face, you're a fucking clown. Dion, clown. Kurt Signetti, hero. We'll see which way Will Stein's going to go. But he talked cash money shit at SEC Media Days. So we'll see. But he needs to get a big win. I'm not saying he has to do what Signetti did and go 11-1 or whatever, make the playoffs. I'm not even saying that. But he can't go 5-7 and lose to every good team he plays. Not after that shit he talked at SEC Media Days. He needs to beat Bama or what? He needs to beat a top. He needs to beat a top 15. He needs to beat a ranked team at least. So we'll see.
What team do you think you will beat?
I don't know.
Bama.
I've heard several people tell me that Kentucky's beating Bama this year. I don't see that happening.
Neither.
Would it be funny? Yeah, be hilarious. And that would be enough for me to go, all right, well, Will Stein was right. So, but we'll see. I haven't done a Kentucky prediction yet, so I don't know. But I'm more curious to watch Kentucky now after I heard Will Stein run his mouth at Media Days.
Yeah, that's all I have tonight.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you calling in, my man. Good to hear from you, Dylan. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hello, Lou. Can you hear me?
Yeah, buddy. What's up?
Yeah, good morning and all that.
Yeah, good morning.
First time caller, long time listener.
I appreciate it, man.
I started listening to you when Paul Feinbaum was giving you shit back in the
2016, 2015, 2016.
Yeah, he did not put enough respect on your name, man.
No, yeah. Look, this was so long ago. I don't know if this was the call you heard or not, but it blew Paul Feinbaum's mind that somebody would record themselves watching college football. Or live stream themselves watching college football.
As it happened, that's how I heard about you.
Now, it was, it's harder. Now, 10 years ago, now everybody does this shit. Now, you can get on the internet any time of day and find somebody live streaming basketball, baseball, football, something. 10 years ago, it wasn't quite as big as it is now. And Paul Feinbaum just couldn't understand why in the world somebody would stream themselves watching college. For those of y'all that don't know what he's talking about.
It made me mad at the time, and it still kind of makes me mad.
Yeah. It was the 2016 Georgia-Tennessee game. Georgia hit a Hail Mary to take the lead with like a minute to go.
How's that TV doing?
Tennessee then hit a Hail Mary to win the fucking game. It was like two Hail Marys within like 30 seconds of each other, and I went fucking nuts and blah, blah, blah. And I don't remember if I was live streaming or uploaded a video or whatever. I think I was live streaming. And Anyway, I had called into Feinbaum's show a few times at that point, but when I uploaded that video on Saturday, sometime Sunday afternoon, Feinbaum's producer emailed me and asked me to come on the show Monday, that Paul wanted to talk to me about that YouTube clip. So they told me what time and gave me some secret number to call, so I wouldn't have to wait on hold or whatever. And I called in and they put me right on. And Paul just couldn't understand why a college football fan would record themselves watching college football and then upload it or post it on YouTube. He couldn't wrap his mind around it.
It's kind of exactly what his business model is. So I thought it was silly.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at us now, Lou. This is a great show. I really do appreciate it. I do have one question for you, though.
All right.
Actually, I got two.
Okay.
One of them is, I get all this talk that I hear this time of the year, every single year, about prospects and who's going to be the next big guy. I keep hearing Prothrow thrown around like he's Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington combined. He's the greatest thing we've ever seen. He's Kyle Pitts. What do you make of all that?
Well, I sort of have two opinions that don't necessarily align. So on one hand, I look at Brock Bowers, and there's a tendency within fan bases. Anytime there's a great player that comes through the program and then leaves, I'm not talking about a good player. There's good players every year. I'm talking about a generational. Brock Bowers was amazing. People can hate Georgia and they look at Brock Bowers like a unicorn. But there's a tendency that fans have to when that happens, they have to find the next one. You remember when, I don't know how old you are, when Michael Jordan quit playing basketball, when he finally retired the second time, every single year for about 6 or 7 years leading up to the NBA draft, we would have to listen to these analysts or whatever tell us who in the draft was the next Michael Jordan.
Right.
Well, fast forward 26 years or whatever, how long it's been, there is no next Michael Jordan, and there is no next Brock Bowers. Now, that doesn't mean that Prothrow, maybe he ends up being better than Brock Bowers. I highly doubt it, but anything's possible. But I do think Georgia's got one of the best tight end rooms in the country. And a lot of that is because of Brock Bowers. When you have a really good player like that, it attracts other players at that position. Georgia's done this at linebacker. They're doing it at tight end now. So I love Georgia's tight ends. I think Georgia's got really, really good tight ends. But a lot of Georgia fans are going to watch Georgia play this year and compare every tight end they see to Brock Bowers. And if we do that, it's probably not going to live up to that. But that doesn't mean those aren't great tight ends, you know. Well, we could spend the next 25 years waiting on the next Brock Bowers and never see him. So I try not to do that. I try to judge the players for what they, you know, against other tight ends that are playing now, for example. So if I see Prothrow play, I say, maybe I go, hey, he's one of the best 4 or 5 tight ends in the country or whatever, something like that. But fans have a tendency to want to compare him to Brock Bowers. And I'm going to hesitate. I'm going to hesitate to do that. But I love Georgia's tight ends.
I got one more quick question for you.
Yeah.
I think that of the 2 hires from really bad SEC schools this past year between Florida and Auburn, I think Golish was the better hire.
We'll see.
I guess we will see, but there's something about Florida kind of trying to chase. I feel like it's more about Florida being Florida than it is about anything. And I could see both of them falling flat on their face, but
yeah.
Definitely Florida has the better team to help him, but I think Auburn is going to sneak their way into one game this year, and I'm not exactly sure which one it's going to be.
I am surprised that Florida went the G6 route again. I thought that they would have, McElwain was a disaster. Napier was a disaster.
Correct.
Both of them came from the G5. Even Muschamp. Before that, didn't come from the G5, but
Muschamp was always the coach for Georgia.
Yeah, but he had no head coaching experience. Never mind Power 4 head coaching experience. Honestly, the most successful coach they've had since Urban Meyer was Dan Mullen, who had Power 4 and SEC head coaching experience. So,
Right.
and there is something to be said for the fact that you can be a good coach somewhere, Tulane, maybe even the ACC, something, and then you get to Florida, and it's a different. The pressure is different at different places, and some people thrive under that kind of pressure, and some people crumble. Napier crumbled. Napier may go something. Napier's at, I think, James Madison now.
I think he'll be all right.
He may win 10, 11, 12 games there. Like I'm not
sure.
convinced Napier's like this terrible coach or whatever, but he obviously couldn't handle the spotlight at Florida. Can Summerall? Well, we just don't know. We don't know. There is no way to know. All we know is he's got no Power 4 head coaching experience. Now, neither did Kirby, and neither did Signetti.
Correct.
And they're the two best coaches, and along with Ryan Day, all three of those head coaches had no Power 4 head coaching experience at all before they got the job at Georgia, Indiana, and Ohio State, and they're currently the three best coaches in football. So you can find good coaches anywhere.
Very good point. Yeah, I think you might be right about that. I think Golish bringing in the quarterback from his old school is going to give him a little bit more power.
Now that I agree with. That I agree with
just
you.
Try to get his message across.
That I agree
We'll
with.
see.
All right. Yep. Hey, thank you for the call, buddy. I appreciate you taking the time to call in, and don't be a stranger, man. Give us a call back. Stay tuned during the season. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's up, Lou?
Hey, Noah. What's going on, buddy?
I'm back.
That's
Anyway, so there's three things I want to say first before I even start our call. Number one, that guy from California sure did have a lot of statements to make, right? Well, I have a statement to make. Colorado is still fucking dog shit, man.
Yes. Yeah, and no
That's
sign.
that's number one.
They're not even close to turning white and stopping stinking yet. You know, that's like the last phase of dog shit. It turns white and stops stinking. They're not even. They're like in the middle of being dog shit still. It's not. There's no end in sight. Still stinks.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. The second thing I want to say, I was watching Media Days pretty in depth, and you guys were talking about Will Stein and Kentucky. I just want to say what I noticed as a Tennessee fan. I don't know why, but his mannerisms remind me of Butch Jones a lot.
Who?
He acts like
who?
Will Stein.
Oh no! Oh no! Is that true? Oh,
I'm a Tennessee fan saying that. His mannerisms remind me a lot of Butch Jones.
Man,
So
that is not.
sorry, Kentucky, but you guys are down bad. Like, and just think, he's coming from the West Coast into an SEC school that sucks, and he's talking a lot of shit, and he doesn't realize what he's about to get into.
Yeah. I
Just
mean, look,
saying.
I like Will Stein, and I think it's a good hire for Kentucky in terms of like they have had one of the most boring offenses in all of college football for as long as anybody can remember. Even in their good years under Stoops, it was very vanilla and plain offensively. So I do like the idea of going, hey, we need to switch things up. Let's go get this young, innovative, creative offensive mind, and let's bring him in. I like the idea. Here's my problem with some of the Kentucky and Will Stein hype I'm hearing, at least as it relates to year one. At Oregon in particular, Will Stein had more talent than the team he was lining up against almost every single game he ever OC'd at Oregon. There were a handful of times where maybe your Ohio States or whatever are close, but he had top 5 talent in the country to work with at Oregon. Now he comes to Kentucky and he's got bottom 5 talent in the SEC. So the pieces aren't the same there. It's now, could he improve that talent level over the next couple of years? Of course. And you got to give him an opportunity to do that. But I'm having a hard time buying into some of the hype I'm hearing for this year for that reason primarily. Even if Will Stein 3 years down the road, we look back and we go, wow, what a great hire. Will Stein turned out to be a great coach. I don't think it'll be because they have a great record this year. They just don't have the pieces there relative to what he had at Oregon to make that thing work this year, I don't think.
No, and just for now, I'm going to give you guys a heads up. I've had my YouTube channel like this full time since 2024, and I've been telling all of you, Kentucky sucks. They're not good. If Georgia beats them by 1, it doesn't matter. If Ole Miss beats them by 7, it doesn't matter. If Tennessee beats them by 10, it doesn't matter. They fucking suck. That's not going to change. Okay, and I hate to tell you this, Wolstein, but it ain't going to be no brick by brick for you guys either. It's going to be loss after loss after loss. Okay?
Dang.
All right. So, sorry, Kentucky, but no. The final thing I want to say before I even start the call with you, there's a lot of talk about the Gators in this chat, okay? And let me say something. I'm a Tennessee fan. You guys own us all the time. I get it. I understand that. But the past, let's see, since Hendon Hooker stepped foot at Tennessee, we got your number, bud. Okay? And I don't want to hear shit about you guys because you guys are us from a decade ago. So calm down. I like John Summerall. You guys got potential, but you don't want Tennessee. You don't want Alabama. You don't want Georgia. You don't want a damn thing but a good freaking season. You ain't had that since COVID, bud. All right. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, Lou, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great.
5-star caller.
Okay, I'm just saying. I had to say that. Go Vols. Okay. Anyway, so I'm glad I'm talking to you now. I went to the mall, and I got me a couple helmets. They did not have a Chattanooga helmet, so I'm probably going to have to order it. And I was wondering if you actually got my email that I sent to you the last time we called.
I'm sure I did. Well, was that about the addresses?
Yeah, you told me to send you mine for the
Yeah, I got it.
asshole hat, and then I was going to send you the helmet. Well, I didn't find the helmet, so I'm probably going to have to order it online and send it to you that way.
Well, yeah, that's fine. Whatever. You know, you don't have to send me anything at all. You know that. But, I mean, if you want to, I appreciate it. But
yeah, I'd love to send the Chattanooga helmet. I was just wondering if you got the email or not.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, just making sure.
Didn't I email you back my address?
No.
Yeah. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm 100% positive.
Oh.
I'm more positive about that than Colorado being dog shit, man. And Florida talking shit in the comments.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I didn't get one unless it didn't go through. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought because I did get the email. I thought I replied. If I'll look into it.
It should be from. It should say my name or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just asking about that. And then another thing I wanted to talk about, and this is going to make everybody need some tampons after this. Notre Dame. I predicted for you guys to make the playoffs this year. Okay, I did not need your fan base not being in a conference, by the way. Join one. I didn't need you guys coming to my comment section telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about and that you guys aren't soft and this and that. Yes, you are. You guys got the luxury of an NBC TV contract. You get to pick 6 games a year that you want to play. We don't get to do that. Okay? Saying that you beat Georgia, you beat Indiana, you beat this, you beat that. You ain't going to beat them a second time you play them. You'll be lucky to beat Miami this year and BYU on the road. Okay? So I just want to tell you, Lou, that there were some Notre Dame fans in my comments getting mad that I was calling them out for not being in a conference. Everybody calls them out for that.
Yeah.
Join one. It's actually very fun because then you have conversations like this with the Florida fans that don't have 10 teeth. It's pretty fun.
They're not going to do that because then they can't handpick half their schedule.
Yeah, and they get what? How much money do they get from NBC? Like $50 million?
They get less money than the Big Ten gets. They get they're about on par with what the SEC gets between all of their TV deals. Where Notre Dame could potentially make more than other schools is when Notre Dame makes the playoffs, they don't have to split the money with the other teams. And like when Georgia makes the playoffs, or Bama, or whoever else, the money that they get is split with the rest of the conference. The conference shares in playoff revenue. Notre Dame doesn't have to share their playoff revenue. But here's the problem. We've had a playoff for 12 years. Notre Dame stumbled into that bitch 3 times. So congratulations. 3 times you got to hoard money en route to not winning anything. And that's what they love to say. Well, why would we join a conference? We've got our own TV network, and we don't have to split playoff money. I said, and how's that working out for you? You haven't won shit in 38 years. There's been 1 year in the last 38 years where Notre Dame won a major postseason game. 1. Forget winning a natty. Forget that. There's been 1 season in the last 38 seasons where Notre Dame won a major postseason game. BCS, New Year's 6, playoff game, whatever. 1 year out of the last 38. So when they say, well, we have our own TV money and we don't have to split playoff revenue and we this and we that and we don't need to. I said, how's that working for you? But I will never understand till the day I die a fan bragging about how much money their school makes. You're not getting any of that. And in Notre Dame's case, they don't even have a trophy for you to celebrate. At least if you're an Indiana fan who donated money or whatever, I mean, well, Indiana, a ton of money, but at least you have a trophy to spit and shine. Notre Dame doesn't have shit. Nothing.
And another thing I'd love to mention about Notre Dame.
VHS tape of Rudy. That's the best possible thing a Notre Dame fan could have would be an autographed VHS copy of Rudy. There's nothing else they could possibly have.
Yeah, and you guys like colored TV because it's been that long. It's been that long.
I mean, Colorado, Georgia Tech, and Nebraska have won natties more recently than Notre Dame. Well,
dude,
but we don't have to. Split our God! We don't have to split our playoff money. Congratulations, you've made the playoffs 3 times in 12 years, bud. What did that money do for you? Nothing.
And your rivals are Army and Navy. Oh, poor pitiful you. Oh, Army and Navy. And then you have to put up 70 points on Syracuse just to make yourselves feel better. Oh.
Notre Dame is big.
1988. 1988. Forever. 1988. You guys tell us 1998? Yeah, well, I'm going to say 1988. 1988. Because Tennessee has a more recent natty than Notre Dame. Yeah, that's sad.
It is sad.
That's sad.
That is.
Yeah.
Sad. All right, buddy. Let me let you go. Appreciate the call. Good to hear from you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. Notre Dame's the Chicago Cubs of college football.
Oh, man. Man. I'm not a baseball expert, but I do know that hasn't it been like a long time since the Cubs won anything or something?
Yeah, 2012, or 2015 or whatever.
But that's not that long.
That'll be another 100 years.
Oh, was it 100 years?
Yeah, it was 100 years before.
Okay, yeah. I got you. Yeah, Notre Dame working on their 100-year streak, currently 38. Here's the thing with Notre Dame. It's not just that they haven't won a natty. They haven't won a single major postseason game outside of one season, the 2 seasons ago. 2024? 2024 is the only year since 1988 that Notre Dame has won a major postseason game. Winless in New Year's 6 games, winless in BCS games, winless in BCS title games, winless in the 4-team playoff games they made it to twice, winless in conference championship games. I mean, 1 season out of the last 38 that they've won a major postseason game. And they had the nerve. Marcus Freeman has made the playoffs once in 4 years, and they had the nerve to sit out the bowl game because it's playoffs or nothing. Well, you better get used to nothing then. Bud.
Good Lord. They have literally the
They act
Chicago
like they're
Cubs
fucking. They act like they're God's gift or something. Like, oh, well, if we don't get in the playoffs, you made Marcus Freeman's made the playoffs once in 4 years. Marcus Freeman's got more loss to G5 teams than he does playoff apperances.
Literally.
Oh my God! If we're not in the playoff, we can't be bothered to play BYU and get beaten the Cheez It Bowl. So we're just not going to play. Why? Because you made the playoffs once in the last 4 years under Marcus Freeman. Give me a break, man. Nobody trying to hear that.
Literally, they have the trophy case of the Chicago Cubs, but they have the fan base of the New York Yankees. They think they're the New York Yankees.
Pitiful.
It's pitiful. But Other than that, though, I have a top 5 teams I feel like are going to be improved really a lot this season.
Top 5 most improved teams. All right, go.
So I got Michigan with Kyle Whittingham. They're going to be, I mean, it's going to take a little time with Bryce Underwood, but I think with a stable coach and not a freaking coach who's going after his assistants. So that'll do it. And then I think Nico with UCLA, like you said, they're going to be very good. Nico's a good quarterback. I just think he needs a certain type of offense. And people are really hating on James Franklin, but him with Virginia Tech and the ACC, you imagine with that schedule?
Who? Oh, Virginia Tech. Yeah. Virginia Tech.
Yeah, James Franklin. And I also think Matt Campbell, number 2 with Penn State.
They might win 10 games, buddy. They don't play any of the top teams in the Big Ten. They got a really good draw when it came to the Big Ten schedule.
Yeah, I feel like they got a really good team, and I think we were really early on Washington. I feel like this year is going to be a lot better. I think Jed Fish, I think Williams will be a lot better this year.
Yeah.
And I just think overall, I think they'll be good. And those are really my top 5 teams. And these coach media days, man, that guy from Arkansas, that coach, he's just, I'll give you my top 5 most, or least top 3 scumbag coaches, I feel like. He is definitely he has this punchable face.
I can't wait for Kirby's going to put a 50 burger on him. I can't wait.
He's just a scumbag, man.
Yep.
He's like dollar store Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, I got no use for that guy. Yeah, I got no use for him.
Him or Brian Kelly. Oh my Lord, Brian Kelly. He. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Notre Dame fans up here in Indiana, they can't stand the man. Like he is a freaking. Oh man, he's just a piece of work. And then of course, you got Hugh Freeze and everything, and I don't know, some of these other coaches too, they just have a lot of nerve. They just think they can walk on a horse. You see Brett Bielema talking crap about the SEC, and then you see his record.
The guy won 4 games a year when he was here. What are we doing, Bert? This Bert Bielema, man, then he gets to Wisconsin or wherever, Illinois, can't win shit, by the way. Loses to every good team he plays in the Big Ten there. But he was going to run his mouth after he stepped on a rake in the SEC. This guy was a walking disaster in the SEC. Then he goes to the Big Ten and wins at 2 different schools. What? Yeah. I'm like, come on, man. So, look, a lot of times it's not the message that people have a problem with; it's the messenger. That's the issue here. The Big Ten is better than the SEC. Well, I know it. Anybody with a brain knows it. But this is a bad messenger to be delivering that there. This is a guy that couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag when he was in the SEC. So the problem there is the messenger. Yeah,
he's on Bobby Petrino dumpster fire.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking there. Yeah, that was 5-star dummy shit. That was 5-star dummy shit there. Hey, thank you for the call. I gotta let you go. I just thought about something interesting here because we made a big deal about this last year, and of course it fizzled out because UCLA wasn't that good. Is UCLA going to win more games than Tennessee this year? Is Nico going to win more games as quarterback at UCLA than Tennessee wins this season in 2026? This is the UCLA schedule here. Now, let's go ahead and assume they're going to lose on the road at Oregon, all right? I'll even give them a loss on the road at Michigan. That's 2 losses. Are they losing to Cal? They have at least a good chance against Cal, San Diego State, Purdue, Maryland, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Nevada. At Minnesota will be tough. Home against Illinois. Shout out Bert Bielema. And they finish up with the crosstown rivalry game against Southern Cal. Could UCLA get to 8 wins here? I've got Tennessee at 8-4. This feels like 7-5, though, doesn't it? This feels like probably 5 losses. But it would be funny. It would be funny if Nico could somehow win more games than Tennessee. It would be funny. I'd have to go with Tennessee, I think, though. If we were just going to do who's winning more games this year, Tennessee or UCLA, probably got to go with Tennessee, but it would be funny. It would be funny. That's a manageable schedule. As far as Big Ten schedules go, it's a manageable schedule there. but it does feel like 7-5 though. Now that I look at it. Good morning, but you're on with Uncle Lou though, and 2 and also in addition to that as well.
What's going on, Lou? Long time no talk.
Yeah, how you been, buddy?
Doing all right. Just been busy, work and stuff like that. I'll actually pick UCLA to go over Tennessee's win total.
Dang.
Like I said, year one Knowles defense, it's going to be a lot of growing pains over there. But mainly wanted to chime in real quick. Obviously did the preview for my Buckeyes, and I co-signed it. I think good analysis. I think 10-2 is honestly more than fair given how much of a gauntlet our schedule is. And I think really in terms of kind of just looking at the overall roster this year, I think really a few areas that I thought, I can maybe elaborate on. I know running back depth you brought up in terms of, who's going to be beneath Bo Jackson and whatnot. I think that's more than fair. We're losing C.J. Donaldson, James Peoples transferred out to Penn State. Keep an eye on Legend Bay. From what I've been hearing with what Arthur Smith's doing, even though I think we're going to be a little bit thinner on tight end, I won't be shocked if you see like a 2-back set with Bo Jackson or Legend Bay. I think that kid's going to be, especially him as a freshman, I think he's going to be a freak. And then I think the other group that kind of caught my attention, more so on the defensive side of the ball, mainly would be the linebacker room. Obviously, you're losing, 2 war daddies with Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese, but I think really this is Peyton Pierce's time to really step up. And I like the one guy that we got from Wisconsin. I think it's like Christian Allegro. I saw him play last year, obviously, at Camp Randall. I thought he looked pretty well. So I think with what Laurinaitis is able to bring in, I think it's real. I think, it's going to be next man up, but I think they're up for the job.
I tried to make it clear in the video, and I think I actually said word for word multiple times. Ohio State can go 12-0.
Yeah.
When you line Ohio State up against anybody in a vacuum, in a one-off scenario, they're gonna have a chance. In a lot of cases, they'll be favored. There's not very many teams, if any, that Ohio State would be an underdog to on a neutral field. So anytime you have a team like that, you say, yeah, they go 12-0. And that's what we see from Ohio State a lot of years, right? 11-1, 12-0, disaster year, 10-2, oh no, But this is the hardest regular season schedule they've had in a decade or more, at least. And it's not just because they play Texas. This isn't an SEC Big Ten thing. They play legit 3 top 5 teams. In everybody's top 5, Texas, Oregon, Indiana.
Yeah.
Those teams are in everybody's top 5. Now, could everybody be wrong? Yeah, everybody was wrong last year about Clemson and Penn State. So, of course, these are all preseason rankings. They're all subject to change. But everybody's schedule you look at right now is, as far as ranking the schedule, is based on what we think about the preseason.
Oh, yeah.
So it's absolutely possible that Ohio State's better than Texas, better than Indiana, better than Oregon, better than Southern Cal, better than Michigan, better than Nebraska. But because they have to play them all, 1 or 2 catches them and they slip up. We think as fans, as good as Ohio State is, I'm assuming you think Ryan Day is a pretty good coach, right? I do. I think he's maybe the best coach in the country. Okay.
I'm worried he's going to go to the NFL.
Okay.
I mean,
as good as Ryan Day is, what do you think if Ohio State played at 50% all year long, they'd be a 7-win team, maybe.
Yeah.
We tend to look at these teams that are ranked real high or who we think are really good and think, they're miles better than that. They're not. The margins are a lot smaller a lot of times than what we sort of pretend they are. And the point I'm making with that is, it's hard to get 18 to 22-year-old kids to play at a 90% or higher level week in and week out, week after week after week after week. And if Ohio State has a bad week against Purdue, they'll win. They'll win 24-17 instead of 37-10, right? If they have a bad week against Purdue. If they have a bad week against Southern Cal, they will lose. If they have a bad week against Oregon, they will lose. If they play at 75% against Texas, they will lose. That's what makes it hard particularly hard this year to handicap the Ohio State schedule, because I do think they can beat any team on their schedule in a one-off situation, vacuum, neutral field, blah, 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 blah. But that's not how seasons work, right? There's going to be injuries. There's injuries every year to every team. You don't know when those injuries are coming. You don't know which position groups will be affected. You know, you got travel you have to account for. How do they respond to that? So there's a lot of variables. And this idea that, well, this team is so talented they can just roll the football out there and win every single week, that's just not the case. Ryan Day's a really good coach. That's the main reason Ohio State averages 11.5, 12 wins a year under him, is because he's a really good coach. Mm-hmm. We've seen coaches take over good programs and tank them because they're not good coaches. So it's going to be hard for Ohio State to give the effort they need to give to win those games every single week, week in and week out. And that's why I have them at 10-2. And I said, this is another thing I said in the video. If Ohio State gets into the playoffs, they have just as good of chance of winning it as anybody else, even if they're 10-2.
Absolutely.
Because hell, the year they won it, they were 10-2, weren't they?
Yep. And we lost our we lost our center, Seth McLaughlin, too. I mean, that was late in the year, I think, leading up to the Indiana game that I was at. And it was, you know, there was a lot of question marks. You know, you obviously had, you know, what happened with the Michigan game, and that really lit a fire under Day's ass. It was, I got to win it all, or I'm, you know, getting driven out of town. Yeah.
I don't want to pretend that obviously you have to have good players, and Ryan Day's got an NFL roster. So the players are obviously there. But, you know, the job of a coach and a coaching staff is multi-layered. You got to get the players in. You got to coach them. You got to develop them. You got to get them on the right nutrition program. Motivation is a big part of being a college football head coach. You know, you got to get them motivated every week. It's where your halftime speeches and your pregame pep talks and shit like that. Like, there's a lot that goes into being a head coach, and I think Ryan Day is a really good coach.
I mean, especially with also the assistants that he has around him too, as well. Like some of the stuff that I've seen of, you know, our running backs coach Carlos Laughlin. First of all, huge upgrade from Tony Alford. First of all, and the energy that he brings to that running back room, he's awesome. You saw Bo Jackson break out. Again, I'm high on Legend Bay. I think that, you know, there's a lot of depth, and he's bringing a lot of really good energy to that room, which we definitely need.
Yeah. Cignetti is another one. Cignetti gets all the headlines, an amazing staff, and somehow he's been able to keep it together so far. That's not going to last much longer. He's going to lose that defense coordinator. I'll be surprised if they're able to hold on to that defensive coordinator another year. But he's had the same staff going back to his whatchamacallit days before he got the job at Indiana. So like the DC knows what Cignetti's thinking before Cignetti thinks it. Like they work as a well-oiled machine. The coaching staff at Indiana does.
Absolutely.
And they don't have the players. They don't have the players that Ohio State has. Ohio State had a much more talented roster top to bottom than Indiana, but that's not always what ends up mattering. Hey, I appreciate the call. I'm going to have to let you go. Running a little late here, and we still got some people on hold. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's going on, Lou?
Hey, buddy.
So, with speaking of Arkansas's coach running his mouth, does Arkansas Kentucky play each other by any chance?
Arkansas and Kentucky? Yeah. I don't know. I'll look it up.
Because I'm hoping so. I call that the Big Mouth Bowl.
Arkansas does not play Kentucky.
Man, I was hoping that winner could still run their mouth.
Yeah.
So speaking of UCLA, so what I'm hearing is they can win more games than Tennessee. Nico, I'm about to leave you.
I was asking the question. I'm not saying that. I was just asking the question.
Well, UCLA does have a lenient schedule, but there's a chance they could finish the same record as Tennessee, 7-5, 8-4.
Yeah, that's what they look like to me. It feels like 7-5 to me for UCLA, but an upset or two, they could get to 8 wins. Yep.
That's what it's looking like. It's just Colorado's still terrible. I know there's some people still thinking Colorado could still get to a bowl.
What? Where are these people?
Just some idiots. I forgot who the idiot's name was. He said it's just some idiot on YouTube.
Well, I mean, I'm an idiot on YouTube, but I don't think Colorado's making a bowl game.
Well, not you, Lou. It's some other special idiot.
Yeah.
But Name me a Power 4 team, and I'll tell you what record they finished. Any Power 4 team you like.
Minnesota.
6-6.
Whoa, that would be disappointing.
Any team, I don't care.
To be honest, I don't either. I mean,
but Colorado is going 2-10 or 1-11. I see it coming.
Yeah, I've got them at 2-10.
But it's possible they can go 1-11.
Well, almost anything's possible. South Carolina beat Georgia in 2019.
They did.
So almost anything's possible.
But there's two teams in the Big 12 other than BYU and Texas Tech that could win the Big 12 is Houston or Kansas State. Which one's more likely?
I've got Houston at 9-3 again, just barely missing out. The schedules are interesting in the Big 12. Houston plays Texas Tech. BYU does not play Texas Tech. If I had to pick between Houston and Kansas State, I got burned by Kansas State last year. I haven't done my Kansas State prediction yet, so I can't really say, but I've got BYU and Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game.
Kind of like last year.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any other team other than Texas and Georgia as an SEC contender. Maybe Alabama or LSU.
Maybe.
For the Big Ten, it's your usual. Your Oregon, your Ohio State, and Indiana this year. Out of the ACC, all I can think of other than Miami is Louisville and SMU. That's all I can think of is Louisville and SMU. Maybe Virginia Tech if things go their way, which I doubt it.
What about Miami?
Miami, I'm thinking of teams other than Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Miami's the main favorite. I'm just trying to think of other teams. Like the only one in the ACC I can think of, because the ACC is garbage, is Louisville, SMU, probably Virginia Tech if they win more than 8 games, which I think they're winning 8 games.
Louisville's interesting to me. I really like Braum. I like their quarterback, and they play Ole Miss in week 1. So I'm not hyping up Louisville. I'm not going to do that. I've done that. I did that to Kansas State last year. Didn't work. I've done it to others. So I'm not going to spend the offseason hyping up Louisville. But I'm not 100% convinced that Ole Miss is going to beat Louisville. And if Louisville wins that game, first of all, if you're an SEC person, you better hide in a hole if that happens. That's number one. But number two, if Louisville beats Ole Miss, the ACC might all of a sudden get more interesting. We need somebody that I think Miami's winning the ACC. I'll raise my hand. I'm guilty of that. I want somebody in the ACC that I can watch over the course of the season that makes me go, okay, I'll watch the ACC championship game. Maybe they can beat Miami. Right now, I don't think there's a team in the ACC that I can even go, maybe they'll beat Miami. It seems to me Miami is head and shoulders above. But if Louisville beats Ole Miss and goes on a run, they beat Miami last year, the ACC could get interesting. And I think it's going to be interesting anyway in terms of who becomes the second team, because that's a mess. LSU, Louisville, SMU. You mentioned Virginia Tech. We'll see about Georgia Tech and NC State, Pitt. Virginia. So it'll be interesting to see where the second place team settles. But the conference as a whole, to me anyway, would be a lot more interesting if there was a team that developed over the course of the season that I felt like had some sort of shot of competing with Miami in the ACC championship game. Right now, I don't know that there is. But if Louisville beats Ole Miss in week 1, that is an interesting game to me, because I think Ole Miss is putting so much energy into that LSU game in week 2 or 3 or whatever. There hasn't been a single Ole Miss fan anywhere on the internet that has said or typed a word about the Louisville game in week 1. Not a word.
focused on Lane Kiffin.
Not a word. Now, I don't think teams and coaching staffs are as stupid as fans are in general, and I'm including myself in that too as fan. Like we hyper focus on like what it is that we're interested in or whatever. I don't think the players and the coaches, in other words, I don't think Ole Miss is preparing all offseason for LSU like the fans are. I think they're focused on the Louisville game, which they should be. But boy, that's got a chance to be an interesting game there in week 1. Hey, thank you for the call. I'm gonna have to let you run. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, what's up, Lou? It's Cadillac. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Listen, great thing on the head coaches there. I have a couple of things to say. You know that Kalen DeBoer. Why do you feel that he's average?
I don't think he's an SEC coach. I think he would be. I think he'd be better somewhere else. He's better than Brian Harsin, but they share a similar problem.
Right.
There is. I don't know what other possible explanation there could be for what I saw from Alabama last year when it comes to running the ball than West Coast mentality. And people get mad when they hear the word soft because it's degrading. So I'm not even going to say soft, but whatever word you want to use instead of and I just can't believe I saw that from Alabama. Were they a terrible team? No, they made the fucking playoffs and won a game. They're not terrible, but their inability to move anybody off the line of scrimmage and their inability to run the ball, it was mind-boggling. They had negative yards rushing in the SEC championship game. Negative.
That was a terrible. Yeah, what they did with Georgia. Well, Georgia owned that game. They were the better team.
And look, I'm a Georgia fan, so pom-poms, yay, that's great. But it still just blows my mind that in 3 years, Alabama has gone from what I saw under Saban to a team that couldn't run the ball last year. That was bad. And, we do the Ryan Williams thing and, whatever with the mental health and his support doll and painted fingernails and all that.
There's a lot of scrutiny with that program right now. And I'm a diehard Bama fan, as you know, Lou. Yeah. Scrutiny. But what I will say, though, there's been moves made, okay? There's been, coach additions, extension, this, that, the other. Do you think Kalen DeBoer has the sense to turn it around? I mean, he has won everywhere he's went.
Yeah,
right?
I don't look at Kalen DeBoer and go, that's a bad coach. I think coaches sometimes fit. Brian Kelly. Now, I know everybody hates Brian Kelly. I don't like him personally either. He's an unlikable human being. I don't think Brian Kelly's a bad coach. I don't think he fit in at LSU. He's a Midwest guy.
Yeah.
And he needs to go back there, and he could probably find some success at, say, Michigan State or hell, even Purdue or one of these struggling programs. He could probably get them to respectability. Kalen DeBoer it feels like to me belongs somewhere west of the Rockies.
Well, either that, maybe Michigan was good fit. Now, listen, I'm a DeBoer supporter now. I'm not wanting him to go anywhere because of these couple of things, Lou. And I'll let you go. Kellen DeBoer, he wins everywhere he goes. He, once he took that program over at Alabama, the super stacked all-star talent roster, a very big portion, almost basically half of them left right off the rip. Okay. He had to retain and use a lot of energy to do so. There was a lot of coaching changes. There was nothing. He got left Saban's dynasty, and then he had the pressure of winning. Now, he jumped out of it, then lost to Vanderbilt, and then that's when the question started. Then, next thing you know, okay, I don't know what they see in him, but they've signed him again. He has not proving everything, but what he has, these are things, the intangibles. Listen, when you say he lost 4 games a year from Alabama, right? Some of those games, 50% of those were postseason. All right, he's done a tremendous job. He's done something which no other coach in the SEC has done, 7-1, with winning 4 top 25 games in the SEC. Nobody brings that up.
I also want to say this in defense of Kalen DeBoer, okay? I don't know who Alabama could possibly have brought in to replace Nick Saban that would be doing better than Kalen DeBoer.
That's why I'm supporting him.
Maybe a game here or there, but that was an impossible task. It just was. Nick Saban's the greatest college football coach of all time, and there's only one of those. There's only one of those. No matter who Bama brought in, there was going to be some amount of drop-off. And if the drop-off is make the playoffs every other year, well, there's a lot of teams that would love to be in that drop-off. Florida's 12 years never made it. LSU's made it. Can you believe LSU's only made the playoffs once? Isn't that alarming?
That's crazy. And if you ask me, with all that depth of talent and it's been in the office management is why they've been held back. I think a lot of that.
Southern Cal, 0 playoff appearances. Kalen DeBoer takes over for the greatest coach ever, and he's made the playoffs once in 2 years. Now, if we judge that against what we saw with Saban, we go, wow, this is terrible. If we judge it against almost every other program on earth, it's amazing.
But Lou, and I'll let you go. But what bothered me is they had Kyle Willingham above him. They had the guy from Notre Dame. Come on, they're not better than Kalen DeBoer.
Right.
I mean, Kalen DeBoer could go to Notre Dame. Do you understand what I'm saying?
DeBoer's made the playoffs once in 2 years.
Bring those coaches to Alabama. You see what I'm saying? Bring them to Alabama.
DeBoer's made the playoffs once in 2 years at Bama. Freeman's made the playoffs once in 4 years at Notre Dame. In no world should Freeman be ahead of DeBoer. I don't understand these coaching rankings that have Freeman at 4. I don't get it. The guy's got more losses to G5 teams than he does playoff appearances. Yeah, he lost to Marshall, lost to Illinois. I mean, I don't. And look, I'd have Marcus Freeman top 10, but way closer to 10 than 4. I don't understand those rankings that had him at 4. How in the hell do you have Marcus Freeman ahead of Dan Lanning, Steve Sarkisian, Kalen DeBoer? You want to make the Lane Kiffin argument? Yeah, that's close. Lane and Freeman. Okay, you have them somewhere 7 to 10. I get it, but I don't understand having Freeman at number 4 on those coaching rankings. Like, it blows my mind.
Well, listen, my top 3, and I'm not blowing shit up your skirt, but Kirby Smart, hands down, he's above Zignetti. You know what? Zignetti brought his crew over. We'll see this year. He's a good coach. He believes in the Saban fundamentals, but now you got to start from scratch. He had his guys groomed. Now he's a good coach as far as grooming his players, but he needs that. And they stomped Alabama all over the yard and the Rose Bowl, and deservingly so. It wasn't even close. But now if Zignetti pulls off another one, then I'll put him at 1. But right now, I think it's Kirby, and I think Zignetti's right there too. My 3rd, I wouldn't even put Ryan Day at 3rd. You know why? It's like inheriting the Saban tree. He's just bled. People are just going to sign with Ohio State, like Georgia, Alabama, anybody. It's just there's been issues with him, like versus Saban. No comparison. Kirby was the only one to beat Saban. That's another thing. But so. Him, and then my 3rd, that's up for grabs. Maybe Ryan Day, maybe, I don't know. You can put a question mark by it. But that's all I had. I just wanted to see your true thoughts about DeBoer. I know he may not work out at Alabama. I hope he does, because I can't afford it. Look, if we happen to fire him, we're going down the tunnel, man, because how are we going to recoup that?
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
We don't have the NI. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Cadillac, good to hear from you, my man. Good luck to Bama this season. I know we'll be hearing from you.
All right.
Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Hope for Billy Paul, Clemson man, Tater man, fell asleep. Thank you, Slaw. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Well, good morning, Uncle Lou. How you doing?
Doing good, bud.
Good. A little bit of excitement for me. Baton Rouge, we got our Kingfish back after 23 years. So hockey's going to be very exciting this October. So extremely excited for that.
Y'all got a hockey team?
Yeah, we did. We had one that came in a few years ago. The Zydeco came. The owner pulled some bullshit. They took off. We just got a new one. We got our old team and the Kingfish back. So extremely excited.
Okay. So you're not talking about NHL. This is some minor league.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're getting one too. That's why I bring that up. Augusta's getting
beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this real quick. I'm not going to take too much time. There's 2 coaches. I've got to see something from them this year. And I think the first one I got to say, it's Dabo. I've got to see something from Clemson to show there is still some life under Dabo Swinney. Because if they have another year like they did last year, I think he's gone. I don't know how much longer Clemson can keep fucking around with him. And my second option is honestly Matt Rule. I'm very concerned about Nebraska. It just has not been what I think a lot of people expected when he came in. And now Patrick Mahomes Jr. is gone.
Yep.
I'm concerned about these two.
I'll start with Dabo. I am not convinced that Clemson will ever fire Dabo. Now, I do think there's a strong possibility at some point Dabo goes, I'm out of here. For whatever reason. Maybe they do the whole it was a mutual decision thing. I find it hard to believe that Clemson would fire Dabo. Now, I've said for a couple of years now that I think he'll be gone by 2028 or 2030, but I think it'll be of his own free. Like, I just think he'll walk away. Matt Rule is a more interesting case. I don't think I've talked about this specifically with Matt Rule, but I've talked about it with other coaches. These schools giving these coaches contract extensions and raises for no reason.
It's infuriating.
It's why these schools end up in the poverty that they're in, like Florida State. I mean, Norvell has one good year. They throw $100 million at him. He hasn't won a game since, it feels like.
LSU, look what we did with Brian Kelly. We gave him a huge extension when we hired him.
Yeah. Matt Rule, Nebraska gave Matt Rule an extension last year on October 30th. Why?
Why? What has he done to earn this?
He had 0 ranked wins. The guy, I mean, what's the record bet? What were they? The 7-6 last year. Why? Like, it just, here's the thing. I promise. There wasn't a soul standing outside Matt Rule's office trying to hire him. Who?
No, not after how bad it was with Carolina. Absolutely not.
Here, like what? Like, we got to give him a rate. What? No, who's coming to get Matt Rule? No, the guy got ran out of the NFL. Now he's at Nebraska. Nothing is happening. Oh, wait till year 2, Matt Rule. Wait till year 3, Matt. What year? How long? You gave this guy an extension for no fucking reason. 0 ranked wins. 7-6 last year. You give him a raise and an extension. His buyout is now $66 million. What are we doing?
Yeah, exactly.
What are
a $66 million buyout for a coach who hasn't won a damn thing.
They could have fired him last year on October 29th for $15 million. Instead, they gave him a raise and an extension. Now his buyout $66 million. He finishes the season 7-6. You already mentioned they lose Dylan Raiola. Now, I like Calandry. It's fun to watch. I didn't watch him any at Virginia. I watched him in several games last year at UNLV, and he's exciting, and he runs around. And for all I know, Nebraska will win 6 or 7 games this year. But that's all they're winning. I mean, they're talking about a team here that hasn't beat a ranked team since 2016. It's been over a decade. They've lost 33 in a row to ranked teams. And you give Matt Rule at 7-6 a raise and an extension. Now his buyout $66 million. All that tells me is that it doesn't matter what his record is. He's going to be the coach this year. He's going to be the coach next year. He's going to be the coach the year after that. He's going to be there for 3 or 4 years. He could go 2-8, 2-10. That's $66 million.
Exactly.
Don't make no sense.
It makes no sense. And I'm really tired of seeing programs do this, where you lock yourself into a guy like Florida State. They're fucked. They are stuck with this clown because they can't move on because, one winning season and God knows how long. Let's pay him all this money and then renovate our stadium. We're doing all these lawsuits. This guy turns out he's as good at coaching as it really is batting out a wet diaper. And, fuck, now we can't fire him. Like, it's infuriating.
Yeah, it's bad.
All right, man. Last thing I'm going to bring up here is in regards to LSU. I'm not very high on Sam Levitt right now. I think he's going to be a good quarterback for us. I really do. But last year was not the same guy we really saw coming off that playoff year with Arizona State. if he is able to stay healthy and we are able to see the production he had at ASU, I think we'll be fine. But I think a lot of Tiger fans, we need to temper our expectations. It's year one. Lane has a huge mess to fix that Brian Kelly left behind. Let's slow down, see what happens, and just enjoy the ride for Pete's sake.
Sound
that's
advice.
what I got for you, Lou.
Sound advice. Thank you for the call, my man. Good to hear from you. Hufferbilly Paul, up from his nap. How are we doing, sir? We can't hear you.
Hear me?
Yo, yes. Now we hear you. Quit pressing buttons. Now we don't hear you. I love Hufferbilly Ball to death. But literally, if you look up boomer in the dictionary, it's got a picture of this guy. We can't hear you, man.
Hey.
We can't hear you. I'd love to talk to you, but we cannot hear you. I can see you smoking a cigar, but I cannot hear. I'm going to have to let you go, Slaw. Calling in from your Kindle or your whatever it is device you got there, but we can't hear you. I love my man, Hufferbilly Slaw, one of my best friends. Love him to death. But if we can't hear you, we just can't have a conversation. All right, y'all. I am going to get out of here. I do appreciate everybody tuning in today. We had a good crowd in here. I looked down there early. At one point, it was over 200 people in here. So we must be getting close to the start of the season, huh? We must be getting close to the start of the season. I will be back next Tuesday night at 9 o'clock for the call-in show. We'll do it all over again every Tuesday and Thursday night. Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. I really appreciate everybody who took the time to call in tonight. I cannot have a call-in show without callers. And in a lot of cases, those guys wait for significant amounts of time on hold in the back room. So big shout out to everybody that took the time to call in today. We had some great callers. And of course, the comment section. I have a pretty average YouTube channel. I'm smart enough to know that. But the comment section here, I would put our comment section up against anybody else. We have the greatest comment section on all of YouTube. So shout out to everybody for hanging out. I hope you all had a good time. I did. So I hope you did too. And we will do it again next Tuesday and Thursday. Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. Hope everybody has a good weekend, and I will talk to you again soon. Have a good morning.